Hey guys, it's Carla. Today I'm working on a canvas panel with acrylic paint. This is white, yellow ochre, red, cobalt blue, and hooker's green. And these are the brushes I'll be using. This is a hog bristle fan brush and then two synthetic angle brushes. Alright, so I'm going to start with my horizon line, and to get that I'm gonna use a ruler, and you never want to put your horizon line right in the middle of the canvas because it's not an artistic way of doing it. I mean, I know that sometimes photographs are like that, but it's best if you can avoid it. Okay, so put it about right there. And in order to get this, first I'm just going to draw my line. But in order to get this nice glow in the sky, I'm going to use plenty of paint, really pile it on there, and I'm going to work fast with it so that it doesn't dry. Or you can use a slow dry medium, but I'm just going to wing it and try to do it fast. So I'm going to get plenty of paint on the canvas, pretty far up. And then I'm going to switch to red. Kind of blend that in. And this red is going to go all the way to the top. Again, working fast so that it doesn't dry. And then at the very top, I'll just brush in some blue. This is one of the tips for creating this glow, is having dark around it. So like if I've got dark up here at the top and the water's dark, then it draws your eye to that brightest area and makes it look brighter. All right, so now I want to come back with white and go into this center area that's still wet. And just brush in this really bright area. And then as you go out farther and go up, you're going to get darker with it. So like not as much pressure on your brush and not as much paint on your brush. And this doesn't look nearly as bright right now as it will when we get the dark water in. Okay, now at this point, since I don't have to worry about keeping my paint wet now, I can go back and kind of change the sky a little bit if I want to. I want the yellow to come up a little bit farther. And I want this to be very loose and choppy. Okay, so now I'm going to put in my water, which will make this look brighter. And I know that right now it looks pretty bright, but when it dries, it's going to dull down a little bit, so we'll deal with that after a while if that happens. So for now, I want to pick up both of those colors and just start putting in my dark water. And you can see how that dark against the light really makes it look brighter. Now, as I come closer, I'm free to lighten it up a little bit if I want to. But back here, I want to keep it really dark. I've got several tips in this video that to make your sunset look like it's glowing. And don't worry about covering up all your red in the water, because in fact I'm going to have to come back and put in more red. So it's fine to let some of it show, but the sky is very red and it would reflect into the water, so we've got to have that red in there. Okay, so so now before I can move on, I'm going to have to dry it and see what my sky looks like. Okay, so now this is dry, and I just got yellow paint on the canvas. But this is dry, and you can see that it did dull down some, but really not too much. But I am gonna go back and brighten it just a little bit. Now I'm bringing this all the way across because I've watered it down, so when it dries it's not going to be real bright like it is right now. But I kind of want the whole horizon line to be kind of lit up. Again, I want to leave it choppy. Okay, so like I said, I want to keep some red in the water, and I did keep some, but I'm going to have to add some more because there would be kind of reflections of the sky. All right. Now I can go ahead and put in my sailboats. Distant sailboats are very simple to make. And I want these to be dark because that's another tip for keeping this bright, is everything against it needs to be dark. Because the darker the darks, the lighter the light looks, and vice versa. So I just want a really dark color. I'm using my angle brush. So I'm going to start my sail just a little bit above the horizon line, so that between the sail and the boat, you'll be able to see that little slither of bright light. So the sail is going to come up like that, across, and up again. And then the boat itself, again, I'm going to start a little above the horizon line, but I'm going to dip down and then come back up into it. And I'll put this on the traceable in case you don't want to freehand it, but like I said, they're very simple. And there's typically cables going every which way. Okay, now I'm going to let that dry before I come back and put any color on it. And maybe I'll have a couple of distant ones over here. Maybe one about right here. And these are very distant, so they're going to be a lot smaller. Now, if I come into the, like where I'm completely in the water, then I'll have to lighten it up some so that it'll show up. I think I'll have it about right here. Maybe it's a little bit bigger because it's closer. Let's just have it coming up over the horizon line. So the part that comes up higher has to be dark, and then that stays light. Okay, so I want this to be really dark. The darker the dark, the lighter the lights look. So remember, any part that is, if it's against a light area, you need to make it darker, and if it's against a dark area, make it lighter. And that's just how things show up with our vision. It doesn't mean the object is actually changing colors, it's just, it looks like it. Alright, so now I'm going to come in with a very pale yellow. The yellow is really strong. But I don't want it to be like completely white, so I do want a little bit of yellow flavor in it. Alright, so my brightest area is right here. So I'm going to put a highlight on the edge of this cell. Maybe on the edge of these cables. And then on this edge of the boat, maybe some on the top here and there. Same thing on this one. And see, now I didn't even draw a boat here, but I can indicate one by making a little highlight on the edge of it. Same thing back here. And then as far as the water around the boats, the water, we're seeing it on this side, which is the shaded side, so it needs to be more blue than yellow. So with the tip of my brush, I'm just bouncing in a little bit of angry water. Okay. Now here's another tip for making this look really bright. With the fan brush, the hog bristle fan brush, because it needs to be stiff bristles. Again, I'm going to use that really pale yellow. So I'm going to go straight against the canvas like that. I'm not tilting it or anything. Straight against the canvas. And what I don't want to do is lose my dark horizon line, because I need that for the glow. So I'm just going to tap in some sparkles in the water. I don't really want to put any here because I feel like that would be a shaded area. Don't want to do much toward the sides either because I want to keep the focus in the middle. But this is the easiest way to get those tiny little sparkles. And then once you've got the tiny ones in, then you can go back to your angle brush, put in some more like long ones. But right here, between the light and the dark, I want to leave that dark right up against the light, so I don't want to bring this all the way up to it. Okay, now for a really bright look, going in with just white, and I don't want to use much of this, but I've watered it down a little bit, and just right here at my brightest area, I'll just brush in some of that watered down white, and it'll create even more of a glow right there. Butt it right up against the dark water line. And then I'll go ahead and tap some down into the water. Alright, and now one more thing I can do to make that look even brighter is, again, more dark. So I'm going to use the tip of my angle brush and just put in, maybe right here, put in just some distant birds. And because they're dark against that light, it's just going to help with that illusion. All right, that does it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this, and until next time, God bless you.